Today we're going to be working on the Lamborghini, and we're going to take care of that oil leak. So normally you'd have to lean over the top of the car, and of course I'm an old guy and I've got a big belly, so the bat wings and the top of the fenders get some abuse, and I'm trying to prevent that. So what I'm going to use is a 3M. They use it for accident damage to keep everything on there. It's not permanent. It's sort of like a wrap, but it's a clear film. So I'll put the camera down and put it on, and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, here it is. It's comes in a roll like such, and of course it's blue, as you can see, but what it does a real nice job of protecting it. So if you wanted to take it off, and I've repositioned a couple times, but it's pretty sticky, and you can just come in here and pull it up, put it back down, move it around if you need to. So what I've done is I've done both sides, because I'm going to be leaning over the top of this thing, like so. So I got to make sure that there's not going to be any scratches. And then what I'm going to do, like before you saw maybe on one of my other videos, I went ahead and taped this area, which I'll do now as soon as I get the hood up, and we should go from there. Okay, so I went ahead and taped up along this edge, because again we're going to pull this panel out right here, and I've got to take all the other stuff off, but we're pretty protected now, and at least from scratches, even though I don't wear belt buckles or any t-shirts with buttons, or any shirts with buttons rather, to make anything happen. But better safe than sorry, I think, and it should do a good job. So looks ugly, but it'll work, so stand by. Okay, so we have got everything off here now that we can access it. So I'm gonna hold the light and talk. This is the alternator cooling shroud, and the hose to there was deteriorated because of the power steering leak, which is over here. That's the power steering reservoir. Camera doesn't really show well. And the hose that's leaking, let me just pull up here. See if we can do it this way. It's actually down this side right there. It is the lower hose down there. It's kind of hard to see, but it's that lower hose right there that's causing that leak. Plus this one is just a clamp on, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it as well. So stand by and we'll get this done and drained out, but I can't hold the light and work, so there you go. Okay, this will give you a better idea where it's leaking. You can see here, this is that hose right there is the low pressure side. This is the front lift block, and it's got a lot of oil. It focuses here. It's got a lot of oil right there, as you can see, coming out of that valve, which is going to be an O-ring. We got oil back up in there, and this is the hose, and that goes down to the cooling duct that feeds the alternator. But anyway, bottom line is it's got a pretty good size leak in it, so I am going to replace all the low pressure hoses, and then I'm going to replace that O-ring that goes into that block. As you can see up here on the top, there's a lot of oil on the block too. So anyway, I'll pick back up, but all the liners are out anyway. That's what it looks like, less the liners in the rear, right rear wheel well, sorry. But got to address all those leaks, so we'll get at it. So I wanted to go ahead and document this a little bit further. I got a little bit more light, but you can see again a little bit better where that low pressure hose is leaking. That is the power steering return line, and of course it's got everywhere, and we got to clean all this up. There's all the mess. The brake cooling duct, as you can see, comes in through the lower side skirt, and then here is the brake cooling duct. So as you can see up in here, the power steering fluid really ate that up, and that was the end that was actually attached to the cooling duct in the side skirt, and this is the end from the alternator, but I've already torn off the rest. So going back in here again, that's the leaks, and that'll all get cleaned up, and that's the power steering, or actually the front lift shock valve there for the front shocks, and you can just generally see everything inside there. So yep, here we go. So first round of cleaning, came out pretty good. All the gunk and grime has gone off the fuel tank. And I still have some more to do, but you can see the block now. And all the hoses are out. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. And if we come up top, don't forget that's that anti-scratch film. If we come up top, you can see this is where the power steering tank was. And back in here, that's again the lift valve for the front shocks. And yeah, we've got most of it cleaned up now, and a little bit more detailing as we go. Sorry, a little bit more detailing as we go, and we'll be all set. Also, I'll pop over here and just walk around the back here. Hey, I love that engine. So, power steering reservoir, return tank, some of the hardware. All the inner fender liners had to be degreased, and here's all the parts that you have to take off to get to those hoses. So as you can see, it's pretty darn big. There's a lot to take off and trying to get it together, but we'll just persevere. So also, what I'm going to do is I've pulled all the wheels and tires, so I'm going to clean all the wheel wells inside and thoroughly with the mineral spirits. Try to get everything really clean and get all the grime off, because I might end up wrapping the car. So we shall just have to wait and see. But that film does a good job, keeps everything off the paint. So pretty cheap. I'd recommend it. Okay, so what I've got now is I've just got in the shipment for the hoses. So Lamborghini, the hoses I'm replacing are these two small hoses, and this one, which is about 20 inches or so. And Lamborghini, for these three hoses, run about $250. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. So I went out and I bought, and this is straight 16 millimeter, and it's about 15 bar hose. Well, this is 16 millimeter hose. It's power steering return hose, which is exactly what we're replacing. And the ID is 16 millimeter, and the OD is exactly the same. And the bar is actually 20 bar. So it's a little bit stronger tubing. So this piece of hose costs $17 on Amazon. It's made by a company called Edelman, and there, in case you want to know, that's the part number. Additionally, these are called Oetiker clamps. So to stay with the factory style, these slip over the hose like such, and you squeeze these together with a pair of pliers similar to this. And what this allows you to do is do a clamp instead of a worm clamp. I will have to still use a worm clamp on the other side, which I'm going to use a worm clamp over there, because on the power steering pump itself, that is actually removable. So you can use a regular hose clamp, but these are breeze clamps, and the nice part about these particular clamps is the serrations are on the outside and a clear band is on the inside, so that when you clamp it down, if you've ever used these clamps before, which I'm sure everybody has, these don't allow the hose to get sucked up into these clamps and deform the hose, much like this end, which somebody has done in the past. So it doesn't allow that to happen and get the hose all frayed. So it's a good solution. It's saved roughly $300 overall, at the end of the day, because each of the clamps from Lamborghini are about $3 each. I paid 40 cents on, not even 40 cents, 20 cents on Amazon. So those are those particular clamps right there that I bought from Amazon. These go up to 1 inch OD and scrunch down to about 3/4 inch ID, so they're helpful. So anyway, the whole setup here, about $25, and again on Lamborghini it would have cost over $300 just for these parts. So stand by and I'll show you how it all goes together. Also, additionally, this is the brake or the alternator cooling hose, and we got that from Aircraft Spruce. The dimension is 1 3/4, and here is the part number from them. So certainly $30 for this section of tubing that cools the alternator versus Lamborghini about $280. So well worth buying that, and it's identical. Okay, the power steering pump, the hose is on there that has one of those clips, And then the reservoir is all back together. As you can see, everything is cleaned up. Let's go underneath. Give a quick look here. And again, it's a little dark under here, but you can see all the hoses already back in and ready to go. I did have to use a regular band clamp up in there just because of the amount of hose that I needed. So I've got all that cleaned up, and I'll put it all back together and we'll go on. Okay boys, that ended up pretty good. The leak has been stopped, so I've got everything back together here. But before I end, I wanted to show you how this film comes off. So I'm just going to try it here, pull it up and pull it back. It's more like a wrap, really, but it's protected the car very well. Because I had to lean over this the vent, obviously, but it doesn't come off super easy, but it does come off. Okay. So not leaving any residue or anything else like that, as you can see. So coming off real clean, no glue residue left on the car. Kind of satisfying actually, pulling that off of there. So, all off, nothing, no damage, no anything. So that about wraps that up, and we'll be back. Stay tuned, and appreciate you watching. And if you like it, and if you don't, well, we got that too. So thank you. Bye now.